So, man, that must have been pretty hard. So you were 8 years there as a regular?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, full time, yeah.
What finally prompted you to make the switch?
Well, believe it or not, I was contacted in like 2009 with a possibility of coming here, and I felt like I kind of hadn't, I hadn't really achieved anything at the time in New Japan. So I decided, I was kind of riding a little bit of a wave at the time, and I said I'm going to stick it out. In 2010, then they gave me like that big push where I won the belt, and I think I won the tag team belts, and I won the best of the Super Junior all in like that year. So I said, that was a good decision. Then I think the next year I might have signed like a 2-year contract. So like that kind of kept me there another little while. I was on the verge of kind of toying with the idea of coming to the WWE again when they pitched the idea of me turning heel. So then I was like, okay, I want to stay here and do the heel thing. So that ended up being like another maybe year and a half. But I felt like I'd done the heel thing. The Bullet Club was getting over with what we were doing at the time.
Were you in the Bullet Club originally?
Yeah, I was the one who came up with it. And
okay, wow.
I pitched the name and
really
the whole thing. Yeah,
I didn't know that you were the originator of that, because that's hugely over now.
Yeah, they wanted me to turn heel, and apparently it was going to be just me and Foley, King Foley, who was...
Where's he from?
He's from Tonga, but out of New Zealand.
Okay.
Was a rugby player in Japan.
Gotcha.
Quit rugby.
No, this isn't King Haku's son, because there's a guy...
No, yeah, so he came in at the same... kind of the same time.
What's his name?
Tamatonga.
Tamatonga,
yeah,
right, okay.
But what happened, it was meant to be me turning heel with King Foley as my bouncer, similar to Shawn Michaels' Diesel.
He was your
job.
heater, yeah.
Yeah, but then I guess Gato had this idea, I might as well just lump all the foreign guys together. So it was Carl Anderson, it was Tamatonga. So he put us together, and he said, come up with a name for next week, and I'm going to debut you on the pay-per-view. You're going to beat up Tanahashi, and hopefully you'll get over. I was like, okay, cool. So I remember like going back to the dojo one night, and I'm scribbling down lots of little names, trying to figure out what it's going to be. And I didn't want it to be like 3 letters, because that had kind of been done. Yeah, and I didn't want it to be the something, or I didn't want to be something. So I remember coming up with this name, and I was like, Bullet Club. That's kind of cool, And I remember like I texted.
We're Bullet Club though.
Why Bullet Club?
Yeah, like Bullet Train, or
yeah, no. So what? I was trying to tie everyone's kind of character together. So I'd been doing this thing where I was a real shooter, because I kind of used to make fun of Minoru Suzuki, saying like, because he's an actual shooter.
Right.
So I'd say, well, I'm a real shooter, like, and I'd just kind of make fun of him, and I'd always do this kind of the handgun kind of point gesture at him, backstage at the locker room, just joking around, And this was about 6 months before like we even came up with the Bullet Club, but then there was Carl Anderson, who was known as the Machine Gun. So I'm the real shooter. He's the Machine Gun. How do I tie all this together? Okay, we all fire bullets.
Right.
So then it was like I had like Bullet Club. I had there was Bullet Parade. There was maybe Bullet League, and then Bullet Club. And I
Bullet Boys.
Yeah, there was a couple of them, And I remember texting Carl Anderson, whose real name's Chad. He's one of my best buddies. And I texted him. I said, "Look, I have this list of names. You want to look at them?" And he goes, "Bro, I don't give a shit. Call it whatever you want." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I pitched the name, and even at the time, they're like, the boys were, on the fence about it, and the office kind of couldn't pronounce it because they were saying Barrett Club. But it went from strength to strength. It got over. So.
And what was it that made it get over? Because like everybody wears those shirts, even over here in this country.
Yeah, it was over before those shirts came out. But I think it was just we were the only people that were kind of working proper heel.
Ah, yeah.
And like. I'd went from being this like super straight-laced babyface doing all these high spots and dives to like I completely changed my offense to like eye pokes, nut shots, and like I wouldn't do any of the fancy stuff anymore. And I think they kind of felt disrespected that, and like that I'd really turned my back on the kind of the Japanese culture and my upbringing, like in the dojo and stuff. So I think that that had a big part to play in it. Now it's kind of the cool thing, and they're almost babyface now as opposed to being heels. But like the first, I want to say 6 months, like I was told that the office had to set up a complaints number and like it had to be manned, like, you know, 8 hours a day at the New Japan office. Like Prince Devitt cheated behind a referee's back, like in every Super Junior match. He took, you know, the pads off the ring posts. You know, you know, King Fale like interferes every time the guy goes outside the ring, and it was.
Prince Devitt, you keep that behavior